When the weather turns cold, you change your wardrobe. Why shouldn't you be doing the same for your cars? Winter tires, tonight on the Lemonade Car Show. I'm Lorraine Sommerfeld, and this is the Lemonade Car Show. Tonight we'll discuss the whys of changing to winter tires, and as always we'll be answering all of your car-related questions. Lemonade is brought to you by OMVIC, that's Ontario Vehicle Sales Regulator, and we're produced by the Automobile Protection Association. The APA fights for you, the consumer, and provides information and news on all parts of the industry. Visit our website at apa.ca or reach us by phone at 416-204-1444. Joining me today is Larry Bristowe from Consumers Tire and John Raymond. He's an industry consultant and APA advisor. Later we'll be joined by Eli Melnick, the owner of Start Auto. We'll also be taking your calls all evening, 800-968-7836. Welcome to the show, Larry.
Lorraine, it's good to be back again.
You must be exhausted. You were coming right into your busy.
We're right into it right now. The weather's given us a little bit of, a little reprieve, but everybody that's putting it off, we're going to be jammed here pretty soon.
They're forecasting a long winter.
They're saying lots of snow.
Lots of snow.
For those people who are waiting, don't wait any longer. Get in and get it done now.
And if they go to the APA site, they can get a coupon?
They go to the APA website. Not only do they get a coupon, but they could read tire reviews, winter tire reviews. And through our relationship with Larry and Consumers Tire, we have some great deals awaiting for them. So better to buy early because sizes get limited as you go through the season. But the APA strongly recommends putting winter tires on, and besides you get a 5% discount on your insurance if you get the tires on.
Insurance companies have different, check with your insurance company first.
And it's about 5% on
And they have
average.
different dates too.
It has to be 1 to 10%. There's a range, but check with yours. And the dates are really important because if you are saying you'll put them on by a date and leave them on till another date, and if you take them off and there's a collision or you don't have them on and you're supposed to,
oh, that's a bad
You're in trouble with it,
So be careful. But
safer, and you save money with your insurance provider.
Oh, the stopping distance alone?
25%.
The one time that you stop when you couldn't have, you save everything from an alignment to a dead kid. So.
Unfortunately, most people, when they think of winter tires, are worried about getting going, traction. They don't think about the handling and the stopping, and really that's where it comes into play more than anything. Is you very seldom get into an accident accelerating. It's when you're braking or trying to maneuver around something, and that's where the winter tire will really will help the driver.
And we all know that in Ontario, you can't afford to have an accident because you'll be paying for it for life.
Forever, yeah.
And ever and ever.
Sure. Well, I think there's a misconception too. We have a lot of vehicles with all-wheel drive, and a lot of people think that's going to affect their handling and stopping, or cornering and stopping, and it's not when it's cold and snow.
Not at all. Not at all.
That will help you get going, but there's no
way. I think this year, especially because the weather's been so mild, everybody's delaying. I think that 7-degree factor, I think most people are aware of that now, that when the temperatures get down to 7 degrees, that's the time you want to get your winter tires on, because the all-season loses its elasticity and is not gripping as well. And I think people are getting more and more aware of that, so we're seeing people changing the tire out a little more sooner than waiting till it actually snows.
Well, when the temperature's spiking up and down, we had everyone, our family, my kids, I can't believe my kids actually did it. All 3 cars were turned over, which was great. And then the temperature went up to bathing suit weather, like it was crazy. But that doesn't have a real impact on the tires,
not at all.
Not to worry about that.
Not at all, not to worry about it.
Okay, that's
a fallacy today.
Yeah.
Tires will wear regardless of the temperature.
But you shouldn't leave them on all summer.
No, you will. The biggest thing if you leave them on all summer, what I tell people is you really notice that your fuel economy goes spiked right up. That's what you notice most. We do have some elderly customers that do run them all summer. They just want one set of tires. But there are new tires out now, an all-weather tire that people are looking at as an option if they don't do a lot of winter driving. Myself, I think it's a compromise if you go to an all-weather tire versus a combination of a summer tire or an all-season tire for the summer, winter tire in the winter.
And that's what we've found as well at the APA.
Are the all-weather tires getting better? Like, are we seeing improvement?
We're seeing more of them.
Yeah.
At one
Nicely
point,
played.
at one point there were just a few manufacturers, but there are more manufacturers now offering them. I think Nokian is probably the most popular one, but Hankook now, and this year, actually last year, Toyo came out with the Celsius, and they've been advertising it quite a bit, and we're finding that we're getting quite a few inquiries about it.
There seems to be an influx of quote-unquote Chinese tires, but aren't other branded tires that we would know of, names that we know of, made in China as well?
There are. I mean, obviously, in order to keep your price point, you have to look for alternatives to do that, and there are manufacturing of major brands done in China.
Is there a downside to that
No.
for consumers?
No,
Is there a way
not-
to find out, or does it not matter?
No, because any of the manufacturers, the top manufacturers that are using Chinese manufacturing, it's going to be built to a standard that they've laid out. And we handle Chinese brand. Our house brand is a Chinese brand, Winter Tire, and we've handled it now for 5-6 years, and it's a good winter tire for two, maybe 3 seasons, depending on the driving.
I guess a question to ask you, is a bad winter tire still better than an all-season tire or
You like to think so.
summer tire?
You like to think so, provided it's got some tread to it. I mean, obviously, as a winter tire wears down, then it loses its value. So,
but not all consumers could afford the best of the best in footwear.
No, that's true. That's true. So no, it's you're right. A winter tire is better than an all-season tire, no matter what make it is.
I kind of stick to that. Like, you have to pick a side. You
Yeah.
can't ride the fence. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll tell people just go with the best you can do.
Yeah.
Like, go with the best. How long should, and again, I know it comes down to price points, but if I buy winter tires, can I say, well, I'll get 4 seasons out of these? If I drive 15,000 a year on average, is there a kind of average that somebody could count on these tires lasting them for their investment?
Usually what you'll find, a name brand tire, like a tier 1 tire, like a Michelin or a Toyo, Yokohama, Bridgestone, you're going to get 5-6 seasons. And by that time, even if the tire is not worn, it started to lose the compound. It gets hard. So it's time. Most manufacturers will say 6 years is when they want you. 6 years of service is when you should look at saying, okay, the tire is time to be replaced.
And it's important to balance your tires every year if they're already on rims.
Yes, it is. It's always a good idea to check them out.
Is there any upside to, I like steel rims because I think they look cool, the black rims, and I can tell if you have winter tires on just by looking. Well, at least I tell myself that. Is there an upside? Is there a reason people shouldn't leave on their fancy
I mean,
rims?
obviously, there are people who put fancy winter rims on too.
I don't know those people, Larry.
but I guess it boils. I mean, the important thing is the rubber. It's the tire. That's the important thing. So make sure you have a good winter tire. A steel wheel is going to be a little bit stronger than an alloy wheel. You can still, even though you have winter tires on, you can still slide into a curb depending on the conditions. So you can damage an alloy wheel a little bit easier than a steel wheel. By taking your original wheels off, your alloy wheels, they're not exposed to the salt and anything that way there. So you're protecting them. Usually, the big thing is that it saves you money in the long run because your changeovers are a lot less money when all you're doing is bolting them off and on. And I mean, we even had a young girl in on Monday, and she had done the calculation that her steel rims would be paid for in what she saved over the 4 years of her lease.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah. So
I like dedicated rims. It's just easier, like you said, and time-wise.
And another important thing is that when you get your tires changed, to make sure that the shop uses a torque wrench and torques them to the proper setting. A lot of shops don't do this. I know Larry's shop does, and competent shops does. It's a huge problem in the industry where wheels are not torqued properly and tires go astray.
And they'll, even at the best, they'll wear unevenly if they're not. fitted properly on.
The biggest problem at this time of year is that everybody is working at a little bit higher speed because the lineups are a little bit longer. So you want to be sure it's being done right. So there's, and as John said, a torque wrench is the way that you want to get it on.
And plus, that's faster when they go. It's like your own indie team working for you.
Well, no, that's how the torque wrench actually
physically
is a
do it
physical
hand,
rather
yeah.
than torque sticks.
The Lemonade Car Show brought to you by OMVIC, Ontario's motor vehicle sales regulator, returns after this short break. When we come back, we'll be taking your calls, 800-968-7836.